hairdressers who are successful. They feel successful. They have a full book going out 6 weeks. They've got a lot of clients who really like them. They've garnered a little bit of attention on social media. A few people are like, oh, you should do more. They want to monetize further what they have. What ways are there for them to do that?
Good question, especially right now. I'm not surprised that you're getting those questions. And, you know, I have to kind of put a disclaimer on this. Everyone's situation is different.
Of course.
So I'm not a big fan of generalizing. And I wrote a blog about it, the danger of good advice, because it's not always good. So this is not advice to you guys individually. This is something to think about, to give a little bit of framework and context to it. So first you have to figure out what are you good at? What do you love? What are you passionate about? Because I think it's different for everybody. And some people are really into, people want to become educators, right? Some people are really creative and come up with really interesting product ideas. Some people are really amazing content creators and can become influencers and turn that into a shit ton of money. However, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen made, and again, this is long before social, and the book classic E-Myth, the E-Myth talks about it. Just because you're good at one thing doesn't mean you can do another. So if you're thinking about this, grab the E-Myth first.
That's a book. The E-Myth is a book.
The E-Myth is a book, yeah. And it talks about this entrepreneurial myth that I'm a great hairdresser, so I can be a great salon owner.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm a great hairdresser, that means I can be a great educator. I'm a great hairdresser, that means I can be a business coach. We see that a lot. I'm a social media expert because I built my own social media page. That doesn't make you an expert. It makes you good at building your page. So it's really important to kind of gain clarity on what do you want to do and how are you going to do that? When you have, are you going to keep your full clientele? Do you need your full clientele? Because we can only focus on one thing at a time. So what is the impact that's going to have on your current business? What's the plan for that?
Are you willing to cannibalize that for this over here?
Just because of time, if nothing else.
Right.
Now, of course, if you decide that you want to, if you're an independent, you decide that you want to build up your assistant and start building your assistant with your existing clients and reduce your days to 2 days a week and put 3 days or 4 days a week into your new project, that's great. That's not how I see it, though. The way that I see it is it looks so darn easy to create a business, to monetize, to create revenue, that people just start doing shit, and next thing you know it, you're like, what happened to my clientele?
And so you're doing this like shit over here because you haven't really focused on it, and you're losing the foundation of what you do, you know, and you're going in different directions.
And even with the influencer, whatever you want to call it, that has its struggles too, because while you're not literally creating a new business, you kind of are, because you've become almost like a full-time content creator depending on your contracts. And what can happen is that, again, you're putting so much energy here, it begins to feel like work. And then it's no fun anymore. Or you are disillusioned by these brand partnerships that you've made that aren't so pretty when you peek behind the curtain. Or you're not following the rules. I post about this all the time. And the FTC nabs you and you get sued.
Yes. You're segueing into my next question. We're on the same page. So my next question is, what does Instagram want influencers to do? What are influencers doing? And what do you suggest they do?
Well, I suggest, I am really passionate about this topic.
I know.
Only because I've been talking about it for over 2 years.
Let's start with Instagram.
Nobody fucking listens.
What are the rules?
Okay. The rules of Instagram, as of now, as of this recording, is that there's now a branded content tag. And it's being rolled out. And you have to tag. You have to tag the brand. You have to disclose. If you don't have that option on your Instagram, then it's not really an Instagram rule. It becomes the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. That is, you have to disclose your partnerships and your relationships. You have to use hashtag ad. You cannot hide it in a sea of hashtags.
So hold on.
It has to be prominent.
You have to hashtag the brand and hashtag ad?
Hashtag ad is
AD.
what? AD.
Yeah.
Hashtag AD. And, you know, people make fun of the Kardashians all the time, but they're the only ones actually, not the only ones. They are some of the only ones actually doing it the right way. And the first thing you see is you see hashtag ad, then they tell their little story or their little pitch. So it has to be prominent. It can't be hidden, buried under a story, buried under see more, any of that. It just cannot. And so those are the rules. And now Facebook actually has a branded content creator tag as well. And that is against terms of service if you don't use it. So, but all that aside, what matters more than the law or the rules is the trust.
Yes. With the audience.
With your audience. And if you aren't proud, if it makes you uncomfortable to say you've been paid to talk about something that you love, then you need to check yourself. Because you may have sold your soul to the fucking devil. If you, let's say you were going to pay me to do something for Salon Republic, I wouldn't be embarrassed by that. I would be like, this is so cool. I partnered with Salon Republic. I love them. This is what I love about them. Eric's awesome. Blah, 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 blah.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad. Why would I be embarrassed or feel weird about disclosing a paid post-relationship?
So why don't influencers do it?
I think that it's honestly lack of knowledge. I don't think it's malicious. I don't think most of what people do is malicious. But what I do know is that you may have heard about it. You may have actually read one of my blogs or videos or Insta stories or multiple posts on my Instagram and just ignored it. Just thought maybe it doesn't apply to you. Or just aren't paying attention. But the thing is, as an influencer, you're a business person. And if you're not prepared to be a business person, then stop it. Or get help, right? Find a coach. Because it's serious. It's a serious business.
Right.
Just like anything else. And my biggest concern is always trust. And it's already happening in the professional beauty industry. I'm already seeing a lack of trust. I get people asking me questions all the time in my DMs, not the influencers, their followers.
Right. So you get lack of trust from the followers to the influencers?
Yes.
Followers saying that, this guy that I follow, I think he's just bought and paid for, and that's why he's doing it, and he doesn't authentically think that product is the best.
Or it's just so many different products, right? People get into bed with everybody, and next thing you know, all you're doing is
One
talking
day
about,
it's this person.
I love this shampoo,
Right.
and I love this shampoo, and I love this shampoo, and it's like,
wait, last week you liked that one.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If it fits your brand, it fits your voice, and your community is fully aware of your relationship if it is pay for play.
Right. Okay.
If it's pay for play.
So the influencer thing has obviously been a trend. It's been growing. Is there any other sort of trends, things happening in the business that you see strengthening, getting more prevalent going forward?
This is an interesting thing that I'm seeing because this is both strengthening and not strengthening. What's the weakening? Okay. I'm like, what's the opposite of strengthening? Remember, I didn't finish a lot of my college, right?
We don't like to think about weakening. It's positive. We like to keep it positive. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, no, it's positive. It's super positive. So, as this kind of Instagram explosion happened over the last handful of years, we saw a bunch of these independent educators, which ironically are now so not independent because they've all partnered with brands.
Right, because that's where the money is, right?
I want to stay away from brands. I'm independent. Right. Fuck brands. And then it's like, wait a minute.
Right.
Fuck brands.
Right.
They're giving you $5,000 a month to pitch their shit on your Instagram. So more power to you. Get your money. Get your money.
Right.
But anyway, so education. So this big kind of explosion of this independent education, anyone can be an educator. I love that. I love that the internet has democratized this and given these opportunities to people. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah.
However, just like any business or any trends or anything, the quality, the cream rises to the top.
Right.
And what I've experienced and what my clients are telling me and what the industry is telling me, because I'm a good listener, is there's been a significant amount of disappointment in these Instagram educator people, likely because they just don't have a lot of experience. And, you know, as someone that came from traditional education background, I went through a lot of training, and people always say to me, how did you get so good at talking and presenting and on video and so comfortable? And it's because I trained my ass off. And
over a period of years.
Over a period of years. And I'm not saying it's going to take everyone years, but I went through years of, I probably did 500 in-salon classes alone. I mean, literally, for $35 a class.
You're getting only $35. Yeah, that's work, yeah.
Video training. We used to have to do so much video training and at VHS. It was all on VHS.
That's funny. I'm young enough to remember, or old enough. I'm old enough to remember.
So that's happening. But what I'm seeing, which is so inspiring, is I'm seeing that cream rise to the top. And I'm seeing still an incredible opportunity for people that want to build something of value for the community when it comes to education. But as many learn, it's just like any other business.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work and a lot of investment and a lot of time, and it's very hard. I traveled. People ask me all the time, "What are you going to be at this show and that show and this event?" And I'm like, "Fuck no." And it's not because I don't love people. It's because I already went to all of them like 9 trillion times. Yeah. I was on the road for 25 years. Yeah. One of the reasons I created an online business was so I could live a quiet life in one place. I've traveled the world. I've already done all that. So people are finding that this is hard.
And the market judges, right?
Yeah.
The market judges, and over time, the cream is going to rise, and the best will be up there, and they'll have the most attention when it comes to independent education.
Yes, and again, there's so much opportunity, and I love that.
Me too.
I love that opportunity exists, because I know how many beauty professionals are passionate about wanting to become educators and so generous and committed to empowering others, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things to watch, quite frankly. However, again, back to the e-myth, just because you're a good hairdresser doesn't mean you're a good educator.
Totally.
And it doesn't mean you can't be one. It's just it's a little more complicated than that.
All right, so we talked about trends that you think are going to continue or strengthen. What about, let's take the opportunity for you to put on the record any predictions of trends that could begin in the near future and become very strong. With all the thinking that you do about this business, what do you see happening? It could be the next year, 5 years, 10 years. Where do you see things going?
I see not predicting.
Oh, come on. Take the opportunity. Seize it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called predicting. I think it's more
foresight.
About, what I see. So what I'm seeing, what I believe is as you know, again, there's been been this independent movement, which is awesome. But at the same time, I believe that there's going to be a little wake-up call for some of these people that haven't, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, haven't really solidified their business in a way that's sustainable over time. And so I sadly still see more and more employee-based salons just throwing in the towel. I don't think that's going to always be that way, because I still believe that there is a group of people out there that are looking for leadership. And even though environments like Salon Republic have incredible spaces, and you work so hard to create community and all the activities and education and just everything that you guys do, not everyone's meant for that environment, as you know.
For the record, I agree.
Yeah, I know you do. Again, it's not about social media. It's not about any one thing. It really is a bunch of little things, and also, and also, I look at my generation because I'm going to be 51. I'm probably already 51 when this airs. I've been around a long time, and so a lot of the leaders in our industry that have been the leadership leaders and employee-based salon leaders, they're getting ready to retire sometime soon.
Yeah.
So now I'm a typical Libra, so now I'm going to completely contradict myself and say, I see that happening, but here's what I also see happening, which is fascinating to me. What I am beginning to see, I'm just beginning to see it, is these independents are wanting to open traditional employee-based salons. And I'm like, wait a minute, we've already done this. And so as I'm watching this, it's interesting to me, and it's so much for the same reasons that the whole independent movement started, which was, again, everyone's got an opinion. I just know what I know. Lack of leadership, right? It used to be called poor commission management, whatever you want to call it. But obviously, we quit leaders, we quit cultures, right? So if there's no culture, people are going to move on. But what I'm seeing now is that these independents, not all of them, but the ones that are opening salons, I'm seeing more and more trickle up that are opening a more traditional salon. I don't know how that's going to work. Yeah. Because it's not the same, and I don't know. It's I don't know.
It goes back to the book that you mentioned before, right?
The E-Myth?
The E-Myth. Is being a good hairdresser the same as being a good salon owner? From a business person's standpoint, I look at a traditional salon and all of the things that they are trying to achieve, and I do not envy that role.
Oh my gosh,
I
hard.
could not imagine trying to be a good hairdresser behind the chair, maintaining a clientele, being the marketing president for the salon, managing the relationship with the landlord,
primary revenue generator,
revenue generator, the social media maven, the leader, the inspirational leader for the team, the trainer, the hirer. I mean, how does any one person do this? And some people have done it very well, and I'm like, wow, hats off, I bow to you. It's rare.
Usually the ones that have done it well, though, are building infrastructures along the way.
Yes.
But
that's a skill.
Most definitely. The other ones that really didn't do it are usually gone. Because it's not sustainable.
Sure.
Of course, in the beginning, all that elbow grease and all that, but in order to sustain a healthy culture, a strong brand, and do everything that needs to be done, you have to build some sort of infrastructure and tap into leadership, tap into HR, tap into accountants and finance people and ops people and education, whatever. You can't do it all. So anyways, it's not, this isn't anything new, but my prediction is, sadly, it's a lot of the same.
Yeah. The cream is going to rise to the top.
I love the professional beauty industry. I've spent my whole life in it. We don't like to own our mistakes. We don't seem to learn always the lessons of our forefathers. And I see a lot of repetitive shit.
But aren't the options beautiful?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't be in any other industry ever, never, obviously. But sometimes we need to be kicked in the mouth a few times or the head, or whatever the saying goes. Like, sounded so violent. I'm so non-violent. But
nobody's kicking anyone in the head.
No, I would never. But we all learn lessons differently, and so I
self-awareness is super important.
I don't see a lot of self-awareness.
I know. That's why I say it's so important. And our position is that I watch all this and I see it happening, and I'm trying to bridge the gap. Every day, between this kind of salon and that kind of salon, and I'm trying to make it so that a larger percentage of hairdressers can be happy and succeed at Salon Republic, no matter whether they want to be more independent or a little bit less independent.
You have a solution to a problem. You're filling a need, and I admire that. And I know that there's still people in the professional beauty industry that hate on independence. And I hope by now in 2017, they've realized it's an old fucking narrative and just let it go.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's love everybody.
Okay, so...
How about that?
Yeah, I'm down. So what you offer is so apropos to what's going on in the industry, right? With all the independents and all of the different options of how to work in the industry. And here you are, a coach available for people who want to go in different directions and learn. So let's talk about the specifics of the things that you offer people.
Okay. What a beautiful way of presenting.
Well, thank you.
That. I have online coaching and some offline coaching. So online, I have 2 programs. One that I open up twice a year called A School. It stands for Awesome School, and it's exclusively for owners.
When you say twice a year, enrollment?
Enrollment. Okay. It enrolls twice a year. It's closed right now as we're filming, but it'll open back up in January. And it's for owners. It's a very, very small, I keep it small, and we focus on leadership, brand development, online and offline marketing, and personal empowerment, because that is a big deal to me.
Right, the head.
So that's my awesome school. And then I just launched a new program called Social Beauty Intelligence. And that is for anyone in the creative world that wants to learn more about how social and digital can empower their brand. And so...
Anyone in the creative world?
Anyone.
Artists, singers,
anyone.
A painter.
I have a lot of hair peeps, of course.
Of course.
But
that's cool, though.
The same information applies. It's not unique. I just do best working with creative folks. So... I like to keep my audience, narrow in that way. But they're both membership subscription programs. And the reason that I create membership subscription programs is that the biggest problem that I've always seen and that exists with creative folks is that we go to an event, a hair show, go see a motivational talk. We get all geeked out, and then we don't do shit.
Right. On the drive home, you're like, that was fucking rad.
I'm going to do this, and I have 90 things on my to-do list. Yes. And the next day, it's like,
here's Netflix.
So by creating these membership programs, these tribes, it's one way to be held accountable.
Right.
It's another, I'm in your face every day, because there's secret Facebook groups and membership sites and stuff like that. So I price it to where it's super manageable. There's no reason to ever leave, and I don't want you to leave because I want you to be held accountable.
Okay.
I want you to have someone there for you whenever you need to help you stay on track. So those are 2 of my online coaching things. I do very limited one-on-one coaching. I don't advertise it. I don't talk about it. Usually with existing clients.
Okay.
I do that as well. And offline, I also have another online subscription.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So A School is just for salon owners, more expensive. It's what, like 6-month deal?
It's forever.
It's forever. But enrollment is twice a year. Got it. And
people never leave.
That's good. That's good. And then the other one is less expensive, more attainable for like your average independent hairdresser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone within my audience.
Okay.
Because I was really only providing one online solution, and it was for owners, but I have a larger audience.
Right.
And so that's why I created the second program.
And so would you consider an independent hairdresser that has their own studio or small salon, with 1 or 2 hairdressers in the salon, would that be an A School candidate?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And then your second product is for any creative.
Yeah. So there's a lot of owners out there that have teams that they want to tap into the power of social and digital. It's great for teams. it's awesome for teams. Or owners that don't need A school, that are in some sort of other leadership marketing program, but want to come to me for social and digital and brand development.
Okay.
There really isn't anyone in the industry that really understands brand development like I do.
Yeah.
And I'm really confident saying that because I've developed several $100 million brands
Absolutely
for
true.
the last 25 years. So
100%.
So brand development is in everything that I do. And so some people maybe are working with a leadership coach or a culture coach or operations coach, finance coach. I don't do any of operations, finance. I refer all my clients out to people when it comes to that. But for brand, for marketing, that's where obviously I want people to come to me. I also have a morning text message program, which is really personal empowerment centered.
And your price on that?
It's $5
very
a month.
affordable.
Yeah,
$5 a month. Like, why wouldn't you do it?
I know, it's crazy. And you get a text every morning from me, which is super cool. And one of my most loved programs. I don't talk about it. Again, I'm not a big self promoter. My marketing strategy has always been fairly quiet, but I like it that way because it's how I enjoy building my clientele. I didn't sell everything I owned. Cut my paycheck by what's this? I make like 99% less than I used to. Let me put it that way. Walked away from all the retire. I didn't do all that.
But it's about happiness, isn't it?
To work with people that I don't fucking love.
Right.
And so that's why I'm very careful in how I market stuff. And it's great because our content is our marketing and we get to shape, how we build audience. And so my stuff, I do it kind of quiet, So offline, I do workshops. I probably do 4 to 6 workshops a year.
Okay.
Next year, they're almost exclusively going to be here in Los Angeles and downtown LA at the PassionSquared Loft.
Okay.
There's going to be 1-day workshops and 2-day workshops. And again, business development, marketing, storytelling.
Right.
Next year, I'm going to be working on a client experience, awesome client journey workshop. So, and then I do some talks, every now and again. I show up at a couple events in the industry, but not very much.
And so these are ways for people to go through like for example, the awesome client journey on a more specific basis.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Both A School and social media intelligence. I speak to that in everything that I do.
Okay, so how can people find you?
PassionSquared.net is home base for me. At PassionSquared on Instagram, PassionSquared on Facebook, Nina Kovner on Facebook. That's my personal page.
So awesome. You're such a blessing for the industry, seriously.
You're a blessing. No, for real.
Love it.
I can't believe it took me this long to meet you. We just met like 2 years ago?
Something like that.
It's so absurd.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And for the record, for everyone listening, that this was a point in my career where I could take a little bit of time to start connecting to the industry where I didn't really have those opportunities before. So I was able to build, my home office to take care of certain things, and I was able to get out and meet people like Nina. And so I've, in the concerted effort to get my ass off the couch on a Saturday night, I think it was, when we met at the Marriott, by LAX, at the hair colorist.
Yes. ABCH.
You were on a social media panel with Gordon and Carlos and a couple other people.
Yep. Lo and Alexis.
And I was sitting on the couch and I'm like, the last thing I want to do right now is get up and, it's dark outside. I want to have fun with my wife here, and watch this TV show. But I got off the couch and I went to see your talk. And I'm so glad that I did, because it taught me, I taught myself by doing that, the value of, kind of a long-term benefit from maybe a short-term, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because, again, another kind of social media misunderstanding is that everything happens here.
Right.
But the thing is, everything starts here maybe these days.
Right.
Not everything,
Totally.
but a lot starts here.
100%.
But look at us now.
Yeah.
We're sitting face to face, and, it's like, it's relationship building 101 shit. And it's just like online dating or whatever, Ultimately,
right.
We are going to take this relationship offline, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I love getting together with my clients offline. I do lots of meetups with my A-schoolers. have a lot of visitors here in downtown LA at the Loft when people are in town and visiting. If I'm available, I always love having people over. It's one of my greatest joys to connect with all these online relationships that I have and take them offline. So I'm glad you made that decision.
It feels like closing the loop, right? If this is the beginning of the loop, when you actually make the effort, as uncomfortable as it might be, to close the loop, that's where the value really kicks in. And one thing I love about the industry is that the influencers in this industry are so nice, so down to earth, so welcoming. For example, the people on that panel that night, there were quite a few hairdressers in the community, and after the talk was done, they would go up there and talk to you guys, and you and Gordon Miller at American Salon at the time, and Carlos, everybody was so happy to talk to everybody in the audience. You guys aren't like celebrities.
You better be.
Right?
I was taught that, in the beginning of my career as an educator.
Yeah. It's so valuable. And this industry has that. Some of the most influential people in this industry, they're so open to everybody. Like if you look at the movie business, Brad Pitt is not open to meeting Joe Blow on the street.
Right.
But in this industry, everybody is so accessible, and that's one of the things I love about it.
Well, I learned from the best. John Paul DeJoria was my boss, my leader, and my mentor my entire life from when I was 20 years old. And shout out to JP.
That helps.
And he is, to this day, he wasn't a billionaire back then.
Yeah.
He was a hardworking entrepreneur. He was a smart man and very kind. And in 2017, he is still a hardworking, smart, kind human. And you're never too fucking important to be nice to people.
Totally.
And I hope that that when I do connect with my audience, my community, my tribe offline, that they feel how important they are to me.
Absolutely. So get off the couch, pay attention to what events are happening in the city. Yeah, come visit the Loft. Pay attention to what's going on in the industry. Get off the couch, go, even if you don't really know what value it's going to have, right? But if you know that somebody's going to be there that you really, really admire, go introduce yourself and have a great conversation with that person. Well, that's where great value comes from.
It's so interesting that we're talking about showing up, and I don't think you know this story, but my second month of beauty school, I got on a bus and took a bus from Washington, D.C. to New York City and attended the International Beauty Show in New York. And within the first...
Were you with friends, or did you just do it?
And there are people from my school, okay. But I went straight off on my own. I didn't hang out with anybody. I just walked onto the show floor, and I saw these people, and it was the Paul Mitchell people. Mm. And at that moment, my entire career was made for me. And it was all because I showed up. And then the rest of my time in beauty school, I kept showing up. And I would show up at hair shows. I would stalk them. I traveled all around the Mid-Atlantic.
What was it about them?
I just thought they were cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Black and white. Yeah. And the artists, the platform artists were so cool. And they all had really hip hairstyles. And I loved how they dressed. And I don't know, it was an energetic connection. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm a very spiritual person. It was clearly meant to be that I bumped into them. So there were certainly lots of people I could have bumped into that day, but showing up made my career.
Yeah, if you don't get off the couch, that never would have happened. Right?
No.
So you kept getting off the couch.
Getting off the couch.
And you probably introduced yourself to a lot of them over these
And I
events.
Worked my ass off, and I shampooed in bathtubs and, hotel sinks, and I did whatever I needed to do, whatever it took to do what I love, and I still do.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.